Hi everyone, I'm Marcus Smiley from the Intelligent Cloud Global Black Belt DC Modernization team. Today, I kind of want to cover through in this module a kind of highlights and elements of, essentially that partnership between Microsoft and our customers and partners when it comes to trust and control. And really, this is about identity, making sure that our data is secure. Obviously, when it is within the Azure kind of cloud elements, and kind of going through the details that we cover in the Cloud Fundamentals workshop. So today I kind of want to cover through the aspects of kind of what Microsoft does and also what is expected from our customer base as well. So essentially, kind of a lot of people have probably seen this similar model before, the kind of the differences between IaaS all the way up to SaaS, and kind of really where the different modules kind of cover. So where Microsoft has its responsibilities as a vendor and provider, and also what we expect our customers to do. So the most common use case is essentially, kind of looking at a SQL database, let's say, for a platform as a service. We will make sure, essentially the database is secured, but the data and the actual, essentially the database within the instance is the customer's responsibility. And it's clear to understand that and go through that. And this is an element that we focus on a lot during the workshop. And really, when we start to kind of draw that line about, the elements of kind of, do you trust us with your data, and can we kind of trust the application running within our platform? And that's why we always refer to it as a trust control model. And there's a lot of detail about this kind of on our documents websites. And I think it's very, very important to kind of go through this kind of this information. Because essentially, if there's an unknown aspect of what we're doing and an unknown aspect of what the customer is doing within our platform, this is obviously where something can potentially go wrong. So kind of starting off with that, kind of trust control elements. What do we look at? Sorry, apologies. And kind of how do we build on this trust? So Microsoft obviously has a long experience of kind of doing this within the cloud, within different services that we offer as well. And obviously throughout the years, what we've done is build on that. So we have a lot of compliancy, a lot of identity kind of qualifications out in the market. You can go to our compliancy page and find out more. But an aspect of kind of where we come from a journey, this is not something that we've kind of started off in the last year. This is something that we've started off in a long kind of timeline. And as you can see here on the slide, there's a snapshot kind of where we started with our kind of our first Microsoft data center, and all the way up to where we are now, which we've kind of covered in the other modules, where we have over 150. So a lot of kind of infrastructure to manage there. And because of that, we have strict controls and policies that we put in place. And as you can see, that we've adhered many qualifications throughout this journey. And this is obviously to cover the different elements of our platform, and also make sure that the customers using it feel that they have that trust and they know that we have that control. So a snapshot of those compliances is kind of shown here. So what we've done here is kind of split them up, at the global at the very top to US specific, industry and regional as well. So obviously not all of these are relevant to every single business, but it's always good to know that if these are relevant to your business, you can go onto our compliance website, click on them. It will give you more information about what services are compliant with them and also how they're compliant. So if you have to go through with your CSO or security team, you can give them the confidence that using Azure is the right choice. And kind of moving into the identity space, everyone always talks about, how are my identities secure and how do I know they're secure? And here, again, a small snapshot of the services that we're doing with Azure Active Directory integration, which is obviously the keys to your kingdom. We want to make sure that those services are actually, kind of secure and all users are secure that are using these services. So we have a lot of elements that we kind of tie in to the overall picture to make sure that you as a customer are secure and also that your data is secure as well. Because fundamentally, if a user is exposed, your data may be exposed as well. And it's super important to us, and I know it's super important to our customers as well. So an element of just saying we want you to keep your data safe and we want you to make sure that you're using the right practices is one element. But we, as Microsoft, are taking the kind of next step. And what we're doing is we're building up our internal teams and kind of playing these war games. So it sounds quite playful, quite fun, but in all honesty, it's actually something we take very seriously. So an example of that is kind of going through and trialing Azure as a service and all the different elements. So it might be just a simple VM, it might be some of our complex networking elements or an advanced networking element, or it might just be some of our automation elements. So kind of going through that and taking an example of the red-blue team. the blue and red team essentially are there behind closed doors, working through and probing Azure and our other services and building up that intelligence on what's actually happening throughout the world. So as you can see here, they're going out in the red team, this is essentially their kill chain. Quite aggressive, I know, but certainly needed. They're going out and they're actually kind of building that recon, building that information. And then we have the blue team kind of sitting behind them or beside them that's actually gathering that information. So where services or items may be exposed and actually kind of building up our intelligence or, essentially our cyber security intelligence graphs and actually kind of planning how to execute and how to prevent these elements. And of course, if customers are affected by this, so if it's maybe an end of support operating system or a security patch that's going to be exposed or maybe a configuration issue, this will be actually kind of rolled out automatically to our customers, or if it is a service affecting element, we will notify customers to actually kind of make sure that they can take the action themselves to kind of remove this blocker before they're exposed. So obviously being proactive in this element and actually kind of making sure that it's resolved quick enough. So super important to us, and I think really kind of moves on to the aspect of kind of building that information for our customers and for us internally as well. And that also feeds into our false positives. False positives are, super keen. Domain experts kind of looking through, building that intelligence into Azure, building that intelligence into Microsoft as well. So it's not only us as Microsoft, but we're also working with partners and solution providers as well that actually kind of feed into our kind of catalog of kind of exposures. So this also includes Office 365 and their other services, not just Azure. So that's why I always say Microsoft. It's a Microsoft cloud elements. So attacks, attack bots, knowledge of where attack bots are potentially hit within geographical areas, building all that intelligence and then giving it to our customers and exposing it to our customers so they are safe. And then the next step we're taking is machine learning. Machine learning kind of going out and doing this as an automated element because everyone has a certain kind of times of the day and this can take up a lot of time. Looking into these logs, building this information and actually building the graphs and reports of where things might be exposed. And as you can see here in this slide, the elements of machine learning is going off and actually probing and building that information automatically for you and for us as well. So it's kind of a mixture of not only just identity for actually kind of user Active Directory logins or kind of logins used online, but it's also infrastructure as well. So as I said, kind of operating systems as well as devices. So really kind of bottom to top, from the stack perspective, being covered there. And just to give you an idea of scale, what we're kind of actually doing and what we're kind of processing, this is our security graph. No small, kind of creature to kind of look at. And I think personally, I think the most important thing to look over this is it's not just the Azure cloud we're gathering this information, as I kind of said before. It's our, our Bing services, it's OneDrive, it's Outlook, it's, kind of 365 essentially. It's also, our Microsoft accounts as well, so Hotmail, our Windows devices and all these other elements. And as you can see from the numbers, this is something that we're building up over time and gathering more and more information to make sure you as a customer are safe and we are providing the best service available. So I know this is a bit of a snapshot of kind of the overall identity, but on the next video, myself and Simone will be kind of going into an element of, how can we secure the services more so? So looking potentially at the networking endpoints, disk encryption and elements like that. So I want to thank you for your time, and obviously I look forward to seeing the Cloud Workshop to discuss the bigger topics against identity management. Thank you.